Welcome back. It's Doug in PA. It is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like the stream. Uh, Give me 1 second, you guys. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. I'm here. Wait, there we go. Okay. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I appreciate that. It shows you support me, what I'm doing over here. And drop a comment if you're watching this after the fact. Patafoot's in here. I see Ragey Gamer the in the back waiting to come in. I'm gonna do my intro and then I'll let you in, buddy. Okay. So we're talking about should parents pay for the tuition for their children's tuition? Because across the social media sphere, I'm seeing a lot of parents saying it is not my responsibility to pay for my kids' tuition. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of "f them kids" type posts. In fact, I'm gonna do another live stream maybe next week about how grandparents don't want to help out with their grandchildren. So, all these baby mamas and all these different women, my grandkids, my grandparents don't want to help with their kids, with their grandkids. It's not fair, blah, 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 blah. Grandparents are like F them kids, you know, um, Gen X and millennial parents are like, I'm not paying for my kids' tuition, all this stuff. And guys, I don't have any kids. So, I'm kind of just looking from afar and kind of laughing at this whole situation. So, uh, I always do the crime files first. So we're going to go through a couple of cases of the crime files. The crime files are women. I cover stories of women who have been accused of, are being prosecuted for, or convicted of various crimes. So we'll cover those and we'll get into the subject matter. And let me know what you think about whether you think parents should pay for their children's college tuition. Especially, guys, I've done multiple videos about the cost of college, women and student loan debt. Put what you think in the chat and in the comments after the fact. So let me bring Razy Gamer in here real quick. Razy Gamer, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. I see that you said that you went to the ENT, so hopefully that works out.
Yeah, man. They gave me a regimen of different stuff that's supposed to help with the symptoms. So hopefully it'll be because it's been going on for too long. So I'm already feeling a little bit a little bit better enough to do this live stream. So what do you think that um millennial parents or older Gen X parents should pay for their children's college tuition? What do you think?
Well, I've already put this as oh, hello, Kyra. But I already
Hey,
put this in the chat. No, the answer is no.
and why not?
So one, I went to college myself. My parents couldn't help because we were poor,
Hmm.
and luckily for me, I my state had a scholarship that they pretty much did. Like if you did well in school, I was always a studious person anyway. But you do well in school, keep your grades up. They'll give you like the ability to go to public colleges. They'll pay just for the what schooling, and then a little bit more. And then I had like a grant that helped pay with books. But one like I think I've mentioned this before. It's like unless like the only way I would pay for anyone like either related to me like a child or like a wife or something is if I'm like controlling like what degree they're doing that will help like us in the family. Like if I had like a business, it's like, oh, I need you to
Stop,
go
stop,
into
stop, stop,
accounting
radio,
or
stop, stop, stop. You hit it right on the head, especially
Mhm.
if you have a daughter, because like the worst thing that you can do for a 16-year-old child, this is man and woman, is buy them a new car. Why? Because they're gonna beat that new car up and not know how to freaking appreciate it. And that mindset goes to college degrees too. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing about it is, like for me, I said like I had to go to school because I got this grant. and scholarships. So that made sure I was studious enough to, make sure I got good grades early so I can get the scholarship. But also, I had to really think about like what I'm going to do with the little money I was going to get for school because it's like it was a make or break.
Yep.
Like no one's going to help me out.
Yep.
And so,
Uh,
like, I was really trying to make the most of that money. And I don't know if they do this in other colleges, but at least my school does this that after like 12 credits in a semester, whatever extra credits you take are free. Like, they don't charge you any more
yeah.
money for
Yeah.
it.
When I was going to college, it was uh the 12 credits was full time, and then anything between 12 and 21 credits had no extra charge.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that a lot of times. I was taking the equivalent of like 5 to 6 classes in a semester just because, like, if I thought it was plausible for me to do it and be able to, get good grades. And plus, it was also another way, like, oh, well, if I don't do well in this extra class, then even if I withdraw from it, I didn't waste any money and I could use that, information to help me take it again in another semester. So I was pretty, um, I mean, naturally, I would just would have thought like this, but definitely being like no one was going to bail me out made me, strategize more.
Yeah, I have a story of a woman whose parents paid for her school, and she feel bad because she's wasted. So we're gonna get to that. But Pryor, what do you think? Do you think um, late gen- uh, late generation X or millennial parents should pay for their children's college tuition? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think as a kid, or should I say a teenager, like if they're able to work, I think, yeah, I think like the kid should pay for it himself.
I agree. I agree. I'm just gonna say, you know, people don't know the oh, Carlos X, good to see you, my friend. People don't know the value of a dollar unless they're paying for it themselves. And
Yeah,
uh
that's
and
another
and
thing.
and we this is the most entitled generation. Gen Z is the most
Yeah,
entitled group of people in the West in America right now. There's
not
never
just
been
America, not just America, Jamaica as well.
yep, freaking in the West, man. So yeah, yep. If someone's expecting something for free and you give it to them,
Yeah,
they're not gonna appreciate it. So let me get into the crime files real quick, and then we can get on to the subject matter. So let me hit the theme here. Let's go.
Now at 5 tonight, some new developments in the case of a Prince George's County mother
Look at this.
accused.
Maryland mom allegedly, you know, shoots her 13-year-old daughter, tells her to lie to the police. Now, guys, what race do you think? Tell me what kind of woman, what kind of mom this is. What does she look like? What demographic is she?
wait, repeat that. Repeat that.
Maryland. When you hear this headline, Maryland mom allegedly shoots her 13-year-old daughter, tells her to lie to police. What background do you think this mom is?
It has to be either a black woman. It has to be a black woman.
Come on, you know it to be, Doug.
Jesus
Yeah.
H. Christ.
Come on, you already know it. You already know. Come on.
Of shooting her own daughter. A few hours ago, a judge
I told you.
Always be the
Jesus H. Christ.
denied bond for 32-year-old Teleka Brown.
Police
Wait, what's her name again? Does it say it in the comments? Look at her name. Teleka Brown. Figures, man. Oh man.
say she shot her 13-year-old daughter in the neck during an argument at their
wow.
St. Pleasant home. Brown is facing several charges, including first-degree murder. Our Lionel Donovan is live outside the home where this shooting happened, and he brings us the latest. What are we learning right
Oh, can Billa Billa Ruel says Native American Gen X. I have a Gen Z daughter at a 4-year state school. My daughter qualifies for a Native American program which covers tuition, so I don't need to cover housing, peace, all. You know, that's good that program's available to your daughter, Ken, and that you're able to facilitate that. Just Ken, make sure that she gets a degree in a field worth something. Have
Yeah.
her avoid the 7-degree programs I always say that women go into that aren't worth the paper they're printed on. Psychology, sociology, social work, criminal justice, some kind of gender studies degree, African American studies degree, communications and education. Ken, don't let your daughter get a degree in any of those, or she's in for a
Doug,
long life of being broke. Why not?
Doug.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to make a short comment about the whole you're telling them to make sure they go into a degree that is actually worth something. That's
Mhm.
one of the reasons why I wouldn't give them the money. Is like once you start giving them money, unless you like really, really on their case and looking into their stuff, they can just change a degree whenever they want. It's like you can tell them like, oh, I'm going to be in computer science, and then like you figure out they have like a degree in art or something at the end.
Yeah, and freaking and in, in lesbian dance theater. You know what? Because Reggie Gamer put that in the chat one time. You said underwater basket weaving. I said, and I said, no, no, no. We're past that. Underwater basket weaving was back when I was young. We've reached the full form of what lesbian dance theater. You know, you know, you know, historical queer ceramics. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, man. We're in a whole
Neither.
different realm nowadays, man. Heck no. I think that I would hope to see women get underwater basket weaving degrees now, but it's so much worse now, guys. Paddlefoot says, I know my machines, so I'll make sure it will last for 4 years. My truck is $300. Owner parked the F. Oh, wait. He must have. Oh, she says, as for a car, they're getting it. It doesn't run. Oh, I must have missed it. 100% has to be marketable. I want my kid to live in the cold, hard, real world for a while before I put money for a formal continuing education. That is true. Anyway, let's get back to
Now, Lionel.
Good afternoon, Lorenzo and Leslie. Well, the state's attorney's office says that the teen victim is still currently in stable but critical condition. However,
So she survived. The 13-year-old daughter survived getting a bullet in the neck, you guys. Oh my goodness.
Jesus H. Christ.
Wow.
they did say that she was able to get up and walk around a little bit. Now, the attorney's office is also saying that at this point, the immediate concern is making sure that Brown can't stop her daughter from telling the truth.
And while no one thinks that a mother would shoot her very own daughter, no.
See, this is why I do these crime files videos. I was doing it on my channel consistently until the science infection thing happened, but I gotta start doing them again. Because you see what she said? No one would think that a mother would do such a thing. Oh, really? Really?
Bet.
Because
Doug,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
us in this chat, we would believe it, wouldn't we, guys?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely
Exactly.
believe it.
Yep. I'm telling you guys, there's still this visceral reaction. Well, I can't believe a woman would do that. You know, her mental health must have been off. What caused her to do this? You think men would get any of this benefit of the doubt? And guys, men are never gonna get the benefit of the doubt. So enough of these stories have to go out to show that women have as much, if not more, of a proclivity to do evil acts in 2024, the modern day, because they are empowered without being held accountable. Enough of these stories have to go out where enough of these will dispel that notion. Because she even said it. The thought, no, it doesn't shock me at all. I'm so shocked. I'm not. Come on now.
No one could conceive of that. These incidents do happen.
Today, 32-year-old Taleka Brown was brought in front of a Prince George's County judge. Brown is accused of shooting her 13-year-old daughter during an argument. Police arrived at Brown's residence on 69th Place in Seat Pleasant just before 5 p.m. Monday. Officers found the teenager near the front door with a gunshot wound to her neck. Court documents say initially, the victim told police that an intruder shot her when she got home from school. But audio from 911 dispatch shows her story didn't match with what Brown told police.
And AJ and I both say it's a shame that I don't have that Tupac sound, but I might have to have it. But yeah,
Mama is a good queen.
yeah.
Good queen, Mama.
If people in the chat, and if you're watching this after the fact, in the Black community, the Black mother is God. You cannot question Black mama. You just can't do it, even when she does crazy stuff like this. You're not supposed to ask questions. And you can have the worst circumstances, and freaking Black mothers will tell, well, you went through all sorts of hell, physically, mentally, emotionally. Your mother will not apologize in the Black community. And if you try to check around, she's like, well, I fed you, didn't I? I put clothes on your back. I gave you a roof over your head. A lot of Black people are dealing with the trauma of their mothers. No one hurts people in the Black community more than these mothers. Nobody. And I said this multiple times. At least 80% of Black mothers are awful to their children. 80%. Now, a lot of BW's like, you have to understand the trauma of a Black woman. You have to understand the history. Nothing excuses treating your kids like a lot of these Black mothers do. Nothing. If you had trauma, you should have worked that out before you had a kid with Pookie and Nug Nug. And then having a kid with Pookie and Nug Nug makes it even worse. Guys, one more tangent real quick. There have been multiple stories where I've seen where mothers are harming their children. 75% of harm towards the elderly and children is perpetrated by women. And in the comment section, man, I wonder what was going on with that woman. What happened? So I said, it doesn't matter what happened. And then every time I put a comment, someone responds, yeah, but the women are the ones who stay, and the men are the ones that leave the children with the woman. So then I say, but does that make it okay for the woman to harm the child because she's around the child and the father isn't?
Yeah, that's not okay. That's the biggest excuse I ever heard in my entire life.
It's crazy, guys. I get that all the time. Well, at least she stayed. And she stayed to harm the child.
Doug, like they're not living up to their principle, like quote unquote. Most women are nurturing and caring for the kids.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Women are the nurturers. So women should have the children because really? Seriously? 75% of ABUSC. This is mental, emotional, and physical on children and the elderly are perpetuated by women.
3 hours. I checked the surrounding areas for Walkerville Middle School. I'm not showing any sound of gunshots in that area.
Copy that. Yeah, we spoke with a few neighbors also. They didn't hear anything. Mom is advising that she arrived home from Walkerville Middle School like this. She came home, she was already bleeding and apparently had a gunshot wound to the back of her neck. But it did not happen at this location, apparently.
Once the teenager was taken to the hospital, she told investigators that her mother told her to lie about what happened and confessed that after their altercation, she saw her mother holding a gun. Investigators concluded that Brown pulled the trigger. In court, the prosecution revealed that Brown left the teen's father a voicemail this morning, trying to influence her daughter. The judge decided that Brown would be held without bond to keep that from happening.
It's her mother.
Now, I wonder if the father got custody, or did they put her in foster care instead of giving her to the father?
I doubt they're gonna do that.
Yep, I guarantee you they still didn't give the father custody.
She's going to listen to her mother. And so we don't want her to be tainted in any way by the pressure.
Now, Leslie and Lorenzo, the most serious charge that Brown is facing, first-degree attempted murder, carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. She hasn't put in a plea yet, but she is scheduled to go back into court on October 25th. Now, in regards to that voicemail, the victim's father said that not once throughout the entire voicemail did Brown ask how her daughter is doing. Live in Prince George's County, Lionel Donovan, WUSA 9.
There you go, guys. There you go. And we're going to do one last short one real quick, and then we're going to get into the subject matter. Look at this hard-faced broad. Look at this. Oh, my God. All right. Last one, then we're going to get into the subject matter. Oh, no, not Pearl. Ah, what happened?
Pensacola police.
Here we go.
Pensacola police say it all started here. On August 31st, they got a call about a missing child at a football game at the Roger Scott Athletic Complex. Witnesses told them the 14-year-old girl was last seen on the bleachers with Ariel Rice, a library clerk with Escambia Public Schools.
Gee, imagine that. Imagine that.
Officers pinged the child's phone to the Northwood apartment complex in Pensacola. A quick search of police databases found that Rice lived in the Northwood apartments. Ashley Anderson is her roommate. When officers arrived,
yeah, her roommate. Sure.
Arrived at Rice's apartment, Rice did not allow officers inside. But fearing the child's safety, police forced their way in and found the child in a hallway closet. Both Anderson and Rice were arrested. Rice and Anderson have been suspended without pay by the school district. Both admitted to police they took the girl without the parents' permission, but they insist they were trying to protect her from suspected abuse.
Sure. Okay. Anyway, guys, I'm telling you, man, you got to be careful because women still get the benefit of the doubt and men don't. You see all women committing all sorts of craziness and foolishness, and they ask for equality, and what comes along with it, equality, is them being put under the same microscope as men.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so let's kind of frame this whole thing here. Should late Gen X and millennial parents pay for their children's tuition? The national median household income for, in 2023 is $80,610, right? Now, take into account it costs $260,000 to raise a child from 0 to 18, and then the average bachelor's degree is going to cost about $50,000 or $60,000, right? Is $80,000 a year enough to start planning to pay for your child's college? I don't think so. No way. No way. Nope. Mm-mm. The average cost of tuition and fees in state is $11,610. Out of state is $30,780. If your kid goes to school full time on campus, it's going to cost you $108,584. Oh my goodness! And then out of state is $182,000. And if they go to one of these private universities, $234,512 over 4 years.
Jesus H. Christ.
Oh my God, you guys.
That's a
Yeah, Reggie, go ahead.
Yeah, so you know how you're talking about the whole in-state versus out-of-state.
Mhm.
As I said, I went to in my state public school because I knew they had a degree program that I wanted to go to, and they were pretty good for it. I went into I'm a STEM person for people who want to know. So when I was in high school, I would hear all the people talking about like, oh, where they're going to go to college, and majority of the time they'll be like, oh, I want to go to college, mostly out of state. They never mention like what kind of degree they're even wanting to get. It's mostly like, oh, it's like this school has a good football team or a good fraternity or sorority or something like that. I'm like, you're spending like a lot of money
You know what's one of the
for
worst?
what?
what's one of the worst? Cause I look, AJ and I we grew up in a predominantly white area, Western Washington, and I, there are these other black kids. I wasn't friends with a lot of black kids. AJ and I weren't because we were that. I don't know if you ever seen those memes, the black nerd starter kit. In high school you were listening to like Stone Temple Pilots, and you had your PlayStation with Tony Hawk, and freaking anime and stuff. That was me. I didn't really relate to a lot of the other black kids, but there's this need for black kids that grow up in predominantly white areas to go to HBCUs. Guys, look at the return on investment for freaking HBCUs. First off, only 10% of African American students go to HBCUs. Only 10%. And HBCUs have some of the worst graduation rates and some of the worst return on investments of any schools. So like, oh yeah, I grew up in a predominantly white area, but I want the black experience. So I'm gonna go to Howard or go to freaking Jackson State. I said, you guys can go right ahead. Heck no way. So yeah, so the reason, the thing that sparked this live stream here was this TikTok right here.
Huge.
I have a question that I think we need to talk about in the parenting community, and that is, why is it my responsibility to pay for my child's college education? I've been seeing so many TikToks about parents who are struggling to make ends meet while investing in a 529 for their child's education, and I just simply do not understand why that is our main focus in this 2024 economy. I paid for my own education. I have a master's degree, so before you come at me saying that I don't think education is important, I think education is extremely important. My husband did not go to college, and he makes quadruple whatever I could have made with my master's degree.
There you go. There it is. That's what happens a lot of times. You see a woman and a whole bunch of debt married to a guy with a highly valued skill or the highly valued trade, and he makes 2 or 3 times more money than she does. And then she saddles him and their family with her student loan debt right here. There it is. And this happens a lot, especially with women attending college more than men.
I don't understand why we are putting such an emphasis on saving for our children's college to the detriment of our own retirement funds. I went to community college. I got to go for free for 2 years because of the scholarship they have in New Jersey. And I just think that the parents' obsession with paying for their children's college to where they don't go on vacation, they don't have nice things, they don't drive a car they want, they don't have the house that they want, to me is just passing the torch on to your children. And I don't think it's that I don't want better for my children. I think it's that I'm seeing the writing on the wall, and that in 15 years, when my son's thinking about going to college is going to be so unaffordable that I don't know what my $10,000 is going to do to really help him.
So what do we think about that? What do we think? Because part of me is saying, you shouldn't have kids if you don't want to pay for them and stuff, whatever. But she's talking about she should keep the standard for her family and her children high before their college years. So provide them, maybe she's saying provide them with experiences, maybe spend some money on getting them a car when they're 16, stuff like that, instead of having $30,000-$40,000 saved for a college degree. Because guys, college tuition has increased by almost 200% from 2006 to 2020. And it's only going to get more expensive. Why? Because these women keep going to these institutions. They're paying all this money. That's why.
That's true. Like whenever I see college videos, it's always like women there.
Yep.
Not but women.
Yep, you got it. Jessica's in the house. Conquering Wander, good to see you. Paddlefoot says, my 10K could relieve a huge chunk of her son's learning something like engineering or even a full ride to learn welding. 100% true, because trade schools are actually still relatively cheap. Jessica says, in Switzerland, college costs $500 per semester. I think a parent should be able to afford it. Yeah, but not here in America, buddy. So yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, so what Paddlefoot was talking about, like the whole 10K, one, Paddlefoot literally said son and not necessarily child. But it's like, if it was up to me, I would be like, if I really had to give my child money for school, I don't have any children. It would probably be after the fact. It would be like, oh, I saw that you worked real hard. You got a degree that you really could use. You like in debt now. You got it like a job. I'll probably hand you over some money, but not like up front because, like I said, I was a pretty like I knew what I wanted to do. I pretty much held myself. I was like, how would I have really acted if I knew I had like a full ride? I
That's
lived
true.
with my mom during the whole time. I did not drive to school. I took public transportation because I would have had to pay for parking if I went. Um, for food, I did not eat out. I like went to the store, made my own food, brought lunch to school, or like waited until I got home and ate or something like that. Like maybe I brought like some snacks or something. Like I was really, really cheaping it out.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You don't tell your kids that they have a college fund until they graduate. That would be a really good plan because if you tell my 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 very first girlfriend, his brother got in an accident on a playground where it took off one of his fingers, and his parents sued the playground and they got like $25,000 for him, and he was in like seventh grade when this happened. So he was a complete lazy bum all through middle school, all through the rest of high school. Oh yeah, my money, my money, my money. When I turn, uh, you know, 18, I'm gonna get my money. And $25,000 is so much money, guys. $25,000 is not a lot of money. Oh,
Yeah.
right. But he was a complete lazy bum all the way through middle school, and high school. But he got his money when he turned 18, and he blew through it in 2 years. Yeah, yep. So it's according to recent data, the average cost of a trade school in the United States is around $15,000 per year. Yeah, year, 5,000. Those programs are what, like 18 months, something like that. So yeah, man, I'm on the fence with this woman because I can understand what she's saying. I think by the time her kids grow up, it's going to be $180,000 for a bachelor's degree, unless someone unless something drastic happens. So this, and I'm gonna go. I went over this on my channel already, but look at this. Costs at some colleges nearing $100,000 per year, but many families pay a lot less. So there are more colleges where the cost is over $100,000 a year than ever in the history of the United States. The cost at some attendance at some schools, including New York University, Tufts, Brown, Yale, and Washington University in St. Louis, is now nearing six figures. Among the schools on the Princeton Review's the 389 best colleges list that has already set their costs for 2024 academic year, 8 institutions have a sticker price of more than $90,000 per year. It's crazy, guys. For what? $90,000 for what? Colin in the house. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
What's happening, fellas?
We're talking
Yay.
about college tuition costs. I'm gonna start you with the question, Colin. Uh, Gen X and millennial parents, should they be responsible for the cost of their children's college tuition? Yes or no, and why?
No, they shouldn't be. The reason being, well, a couple reasons. Number one, you got far too many people getting completely worthless degrees, and plus two, a lot of these young kids, if they have all their college paid for, they it leads to them not understanding the value of a dollar, and because in their mind they would just think, "Oh, mommy and daddy will just pay for it. Who cares?"
Yep.
So
Speaking of that, look at this. My parents paid every cent of my college education, and they don't regret it. But I already know I won't do the same for my kids. So, okay, Let's get into it. It says, growing up, we often visited the campus of my dad's alma mater and held alumni retreats at our house. The family joke is that my dad used to lean over my crib and whisper, "You will be going to Wheaton College someday," right? And he was right. In the fall of 2003, I packed my bags and started college 3 hours away at my dream college in Wheaton, Illinois. My parents paid all of my costs, so for me, it was completely free. Because I didn't pay for college, I valued it less. At least she admitted it. Since I wasn't in charge of paying for my education, I didn't have a care in the world. That's why almost immediately I spent more time with new friends than I did studying or attending class. I dedicated myself solely to social extracurriculars, particularly my grades tanked. I also went through a bit of an identity crisis because in addition to being away from home for the first time in my life, I transformed from an A and B student in high school to a C and D student in college. It was an emotionally and confusing year. I firmly believe that if I paid for my education, I would have been a great student. I know this is true because when I went to graduate school, I paid for every penny and was a far better student. Plus, I loved it. What do we think, guys?
I agree.
Sounds exactly right. Yeah.
Now try and
Actually, what I was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, oh, if someone else pays for it, how much are you going to value it?
Yeah, it's true, guys. And try and guess her major. Try and guess. Anyone? We're gonna get there, but try and guess.
Psychology.
Okay, Colin says psychology. Pyro.
Gender studies.
Rajai.
Well, I was going to say one of the studies, like any studies at all, unless it's one of those made up ones like that other school.
Lesbian dance studies instead of lesbian dance theater. Okay, to prepare for this
Mhm.
article, it cost my
Communications.
parents. Yeah, it cost my parents more than $200,000 to send me to school.
Jesus H. Christ.
To prepare for this article, I interviewed my parents about what it was like paying for my education, and I'm still trying to wipe the look of disbelief off their faces. They spent an outrageous amount of money on me per semester, $21,000 to $42,000 per year. Even worse, they paid for 10 semesters, adding up to $210,000 total by the time I graduated with a 2.5 GPA for a communications degree.
Called it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a sixth sense for these things now, man. I knew it was something like that. I knew it. She said, I took longer to graduate because I switched from a business major during my junior year, hence why I spent 2 additional semesters earning my communications major. For one of these extra semesters, I took a summer school, and my 10th semester was spent working a newspaper internship since it was my last requirement to graduate. In other words, my parents spent $21,000 so I could complete an unpaid internship.
What?
This is insane, you guys. You know what they could have done with $210,000? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is literally what I was saying about not paying, because you heard her say she had a degree in business, which depended on she was going for business, which depended on like what field that could be, like it could be good, it could be stupid. But then she changed it, and it's like unless the parents like was watching, it's like they probably like thought, oh, she'll get a degree in business, may go into accounting, finance, something like that, and was okay with that, and then like switched it up, and they're like, well, we already sunk cost into it, we might as well give her the rest. Or she might not even told her parents. I guess she must have told her parents that she switched. But like that's why I wouldn't want to give a child the money, because they can be like, oh, you're going to go into computer science, and it turn out that they're in dance theater or something.
Yep. It And here's the thing, guys. Women thought to be empowered and to be equal to men, right? That means that life is going to audit them the same. I mean, it's never going to be fully the same. But now women are being audited like never before, right? And they're trying to remove adversity and hardship and difficulty from society. So a lot of these, like, we have the most unprepared group of kids going out into the world and going into college. Unprepared. That's why it makes you laugh when I see, oh yeah, women in STEM. We need to recruit more women in STEM. STEM degrees are hard. The STEM field is hard. A lot of men don't want to go into those STEM fields. So you think that a lot of women are going to do it? And even if they stick it out for the degree, are they going to stay in the industry long term?
Nope.
Is she going to stay a mechanical engineer until she retires?
Nope.
Electrical engineer?
Nope.
Researcher in a lab?
Nope.
A physician?
Nope.
No. They don't stay in these positions, guys. They just don't. And all of these women are taking up spots where if it would have been a man, he would have stuck it out until he was 65 to 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me I'm lying.
You're not lying. You're speaking the truth.
Remember, guys, your journey as a man, you're going to get a job when you're 16 and you're going to work until you're dead. Okay? Hopefully, along the way, you get a highly valued skill, highly valued trade, or highly valued education so you can provide for yourself and a wife and children if you so choose to have them. That's your life, guys. And men, if no one tells us this when we're young, society tells us this. You will get audited real quick in your late teens, early 20s. And women think that they want that journey of getting a job and working till they're dead, and then they start living it. And then usually around their 30s, they went off that train. I need to find a provider. I need to be a housewife. I need to have kids. You were saying that you were 24 or 23, ready to take on the world, slay the dragon. Guys, work sucks. I don't want to work. But women have this romanticized work and working hard jobs, all the status and stuff. It comes with a price, and not a lot of women who want to pay that price long term. It says, okay, that said, I'd say the biggest culprit of my extended year were procrastination and flakiness, which I deeply regret and feel guilty about. I rarely did homework. I slacked off in class even if I went. I pulled all-nighters to complete projects, which resulted in dozing off in class. My parents don't regret paying for my college. I already knew my parents were saintly, but in talking with them, I learned how much they put me first. For one thing, they refinanced their mortgage in order to fund my college experience, and they put retirement and regular savings on hold while I was away at college.
Jesus.
Oh my God, guys. What the heck? Oh my God.
Really? Really?
They refinanced their house, guys.
Oh.
This is freaking modern women, guys. Only child, modern women. You definitely don't want to give up. Only child, modern woman.
Only you want it can make me cringe so hard when I hear these stories.
Yep. Happens all the time, guys. Yep. Whiteout said it. What a horrible daughter. And think about it, it's just she's gonna learn as she gets older what it costs her parents to give her that money. So if she makes enough where she can buy a house and try to make a life, they're like, dang, this is what I took from my parents when I was messing around in college. But I says, well, what kind of job do you think she can get? I was thinking maybe they find a part-time job or accounting job or something. I don't know, something like that.
Doug, this really, I think, provides a lot of insight to the latest and greatest crisis happening with the boomer generation, particularly the the boomer broads who, at 57 were like, oh, I'm going to get divorced. Yay. Anyways, the boomer generation now are the largest growing segment of people becoming homeless. Again, particularly the women. And check this out, some scary stats. 50% of all boomers, whether they're still working or they've already retired, don't have nothing for retirement savings. Of the 50% who do actually have something saved up, it's less than 100 grand. It kind of makes you wonder, well, maybe part of the problem is that these idiot fools, they spend $200,000-$300,000 on these stupid, worthless degrees for their kids,
Yep, I agree. These women. So I saw. I think I did a story on my channel about gray divorce and how gray divorce is increasing. People are reaching their 50s and getting divorced. And these women are like, yay, I'm gonna live my truth and live my best life with all my friends. And then 15 years later, they're freaking living in their car in a park.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this with someone earlier, guys. Biggest difference between men and women is that women know deep down that they have this mindset where I'll just figure it out, and what that means is they know along the way that someone is going to help them, some way, some shape, somehow. You never hear a guy say, "Oh, you know what? I'll just figure it out," because we know that no one's coming to save us. This is why so many women between the ages of 33 and 37 are baby mamas. They're just going to have a kid out of wedlock, make it work. This is why so many women, single women, buy and own houses because they're just going to live on a prayer for 30 years. This is why so many women leave their husbands. Why? They're just going to figure it out. Men, we don't have that luxury. Because
Go
ahead, Reggie.
Yeah. So here's another reason that parents really shouldn't give money for their children to go to, college or whatever. Is most of the times this is money that even if they saved up, like it can always be useful to them later. Like to be honest, like if I even had like a 50K, I'd rather just keep that and like if my child, like my hypothetical child, gets messed up, it's like you can just live with us. We at least have 50K. It's like you're pretty much giving up something that you hope will help out somebody else in the future, but could be useful to you later.
Example. They could have. She could have not went to college, got some job as a secretary somewhere, and then they could have given her that $200,000 to buy her first property or something. That would have been better than her wasting it on a communications.
Yeah.
Yep. Do that, guys. Because it should be okay if any of you have children for your. Because a lot of sons are doing it. They're having a conversation with their mom and dad saying, "Look, I don't want to go to college." You should be able to entertain that conversation. If your son or daughter says, "I don't want to go to college," and you have a college fund, say, "Hey, you know what? I have this money. Let's talk about what we're going to do with it. But don't do this." In fact, I found an article where this professor said that in the 8 years he's been teaching at the school, a lot of the younger students were pushed there to go by their parents. Anyway, it says it also became clear how good they are at financial management. They never took out any loans, and they always paid for my tuition on time, which means they avoided building interest altogether. My dad is a doctor, and my mom was a homemaker. Well, at least it's that. At least her dad makes good money, and they can actually afford the $200,000. However, to help pay for college, she became a realtor. Until our recent conversation, I never fully appreciated or even realized her sacrifice. Now you see that she didn't talk about her dad's sacrifice. That's the mom. But I think they should have made me pay for college. As far as I'm concerned, not doing that was a mistake. Even a small portion would likely have changed my priorities. And until I figured out what I wanted for a career, I should have gone to community college. Guys, I went to community college. It was great. It was great. AJ and I, we lived out our high school years in community college. We were the popular kids at community college. And let me tell you, I did what she did in community college. I graduated community college with like a a 3.0 or a 2.9 or something. But when I transferred to university, I was like, I got to get this stuff done. So my GPA was a lot higher in undergrad. But it says uh, in the sweetest of ways, they don't see it like that. As my dad put it, I do not regret paying your college tuition because we knew education was important and we committed to it when you were a little girl. Despite their lack of regret, they admit that I should have worked in high school and college to help contribute. And I wish I would have better utilized their investment. If there's a redemption story, is I got a job in the field I studied for. I used my communications degree to go into the publishing field, which I know helps ease their mind. But you're not gonna make any money. Publishing and communications, guys. Modern women.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. These women trying to be a Superman or Wonder Woman or something.
But they don't have the skills and the freaking tools necessary to do it. A communications degree, and she's not going to say how much she makes. You know what? How much on average does a communications major make? Communications major make. So the average salary for a communications hold on for a communications major, they say is a range is about $60,000 a year. So in publishing, she probably makes about 60. And, and she's debt free because her parents paid for all of her school. So there's that. So I guess it worked out in the end. But and at least she feels bad. I mean, should we give her any kind of credit for her honesty, guys? Oh man. So it says why I won't give my kid a free ride to college. If I made a financial investment in my college education, I really think I would have studied hard. My parents' parting wisdom was that my kids should work or even better, run their own business, perhaps selling things on Amazon. And I agree. My future kids will work by the time they're in school. My parents meant well, and I will never be able to repay them in gratitude or capital. However, when I'm a mom, my kids will pay for at least half their education, get scholarships, and consider community college. They'll learn to value college more than I ever did. Rajab, Pyro, Colin, how old were you when you got your first job? And you'd have to say where it was, but what was it doing?
My very first job was 15 years old, being a bag boy at a Safeway.
And how much did you make an hour?
At the time, what my wage was at the time.
Because my first job, I was a host at a restaurant. I was making $5.10 an hour. I was 16 years old, and then before that, AJ and I we used to mow people's yards during the summer. All summer long, just mow people's yards. Rajab, how old were you when you got your first job? And you'd have
So
this
my
story. What was it doing?
so I got it in high school. Interesting enough, my high school had this requirement for you to graduate that you have to do some kind of community service for like 75 hours.
Like a work study or something?
Yeah, something like that. So what I did was during one of the summers, I worked at a daycare center. So I was doing that for free. I was, volunteering. Like you had to do it as community service. So that would have been at least the earliest time that I remember working. I went there, like one I did. I worked smarter instead of harder. So it's like, oh, you needed 75 hours. I just like made sure to get there as early as possible and stay there as long as possible. So I was like there as soon as they started, ended, like as soon as they mostly ended, was able to get that 75 hours really quick because they only did it Monday through Friday. They the way the daycare worked, like it was essentially like a daycare kind of school pre-K thing, but it was real nice. It wasn't far away for me. Like I said, I didn't get paid for it, but um, I like working there, and it taught me some very valuable lessons.
Okay. Oh, and Pyro, what was your very first job?
Mine
Mm-hmm.
right now, this is my first job. I'm a
Okay.
caretaker right now.
Okay. Hey, you know what? It pays the bills. That's all that counts.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
so go ahead, Pyro. Go ahead. Oh,
Other side hustle, but I wouldn't consider those as jobs. Like I used to work on construction sites, but I didn't make my parents know because I was young,
okay.
and I made some good money, some really good
It's just
money.
it's just long, hard hours, man.
Yeah.
Long, hard hours. So, so I, I found this old school video by Aaron Clary, and this is back in 2019. He said, "Stop paying for your kids' college." Let's see what Aaron Clary has to say.
You're such an asshole.
Normally, I start out with the hello, children, but this is not for the children because the children actually listen. Because I could have swore I've done this video before, but it dawned on me that if I keep hearing it from the public, that message ain't getting out. And well, of course, I don't have the largest channel ever, but then we'll do a repeat sermon here. This one's going to be for the adults. I run into adults, older adults, even adults my age, grandparent adults, who, well, I finally paid off my students or my children's student loans. I finally paid off my children's education. And then they also come out right on the very back side of that statement comes, oh, now I don't have enough for retirement. And they look to me with literally 5 years before they'd like to retire, like, so what do I got to do, huh? How do I got to do? And you think
By then they're cooked. They're cooked. It's just like that's $200,000. Her parents had to pay off another mortgage because of her. Crazy.
that these full-grown adults would know that, okay, you paid 3 kids' way through college at 60 grand a pop. That's 180,000. That took you 20 fucking years to pay off. 20 years to pay off 180 grand. Now, you think that 180 grand is going to last you 20 years for retirement? That you got 5 years and you're going to save up 180 grand? And you think that's how it's going to work? Took you 20 to save up 180. You think that you're just going to be able to do that in 5 years? And plus the 180 is going to last you 20 years? Do you and Herman or Wifey Poo ever do any math? I'm not talking calculus, some basic math. All right. This is a problem for now the baby boomers, and it's going to be a problem for Gen X parents. And that is, you guys have got to quit paying for your kids' education. Now, if you're rich, you're a Bush or you're an Obama or you're a Justin Trudeau or you're a Rockefeller, fine. Send your kid to the most preppy Sidwell and Friends elitist school. Send them to Harvard. Send them wherever. You got the money. But for the rest of you, obviously math impaired people, you can't afford it. You can't afford it. And there is a million other reasons beyond that mathematical fact you can't afford it. And don't think that this is my opinion. It's not like, oh, well, I don't think you can afford it or you really can't afford that Nintendo Switch. No, You mathematically cannot afford it because you guys have crippled yourself and enslaved yourself way past the retirement age.
Yep. Math is a simple but harsh thing. A lot of things you can either afford it or you can't. And a lot of people, they're just not going to be. You have parents who are still paying off their student loans and then trying to pay for their kids' college. It's craziness. It's simple math, guys.
Oh, Doug.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, if you pay off your kids' schooling, it's like, even if your children want to help you out, they probably cannot because they have their own monetary problem. So you're screwed.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Oh yeah, Emoji Mister in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Um, uh, uh, you always have an obligation to take care of your children, but your children have no obligation to take care of you. They have to live their own lives. And there's too many parents who didn't do what they're supposed to do, and then when they get older, they have to move in with their kids and depend on their children, and that's not right. It's just not. If the kids choose to do that, that's fine, but it shouldn't be a requirement. Your kids shouldn't be your retirement plan.
It's like gravity. You can't walk off that cliff. Well, you actually can, but it's really, really going to hurt. But there are so many other reasons not to pay your kids' way through college. Please shut up about, but I love them. Shut up. Shut up. This is not about love. This is about reality. Right? First, college is not what it was back in 1972. Right? College is not what it was back in even 1982. Christ, it's not even what it was in 92. It is a fucking shit show. It is indoctrination. It is leftist Marxist propaganda, and this has nothing to do with me being a libertarian, Republican, conservative guy. Just read the fucking papers. Now this...
Steve in the house. Good to see you, my friend.
To be fine if you paid for little Jimmy's bachelor's of science in electrical engineering, or you paid for little Tina's bachelor's of science in computer science. That'd be fine because those kids would go on to get jobs. But 2/3 of the degrees being awarded are for the liberal arts, which are complete wastes of time.
And this was 6 years ago. He did this video, guys. It's even worse now. This was 6 years ago. Go ahead.
So Paddlefoot mentioned something. I wonder if there's any more explanation to, like, imagine you have a super bright child, but you don't have the resources to launch them. Guess who that is? That's me. I'm the super bright child who lived, like, very, very poor. I had to make it on my own.
Yeah, and the lessons you learned from having to do. I told you that some of the best advice I ever got was those who don't have to won't, and you had to make it, which is why you live the life that you live now. But people nowadays, especially, people don't have to be successful. A lot of them won't be. And remember, with Gen Z, with all of them not wanting to work 9 to 5, this myth of being an entrepreneur, I can be a social media content creator. This is creating a wall that most of them are going to smash into. Most of these men, especially the women, they're going to have to get a real job sooner or later. You're going to have more 35-year-olds in entry-level positions in 10 years. And on their resume, they're going to say, oh, yeah, I spent 8 years at, on some, for some social media company making content. If that's all that's on your resume with a freaking liberal arts degree, where can you work besides Starbucks? Nowhere. That's where.
That's not an opinion again. And I know you think, well, I got a degree in English back in 1847, and I worked for Queen Elizabeth I, and I did all right. You are so old, and college was so long ago, it is not applicable anymore. Look at starting salaries for each degree. And then you could do a
Why don't I ask a good question? Do you think Gen Z will ruin society? Well, it's it's trending that Gen Z men are are trending more conservative, right? You do have a lot of young guys who just don't want to bother with women. So I think that Gen Z, by the time they're 35, are going to make women have to really evaluate what they're doing, because a lot of Gen Z guys, they're just avoiding women altogether. Now they're not working, but at least they're freaking avoiding women. We're going to be able to put to the test all of the feminist theory is going to be put to the test with Gen Z. They're the penultimate experiment. A lot of them think that men and women are equal. A lot of them are freaking, LGBT. A lot of women think that they can date a guy who makes less than them or shorter than them, or this 50-50 partnership stuff. We're going to put it to the test. I think it's going to be a miserable failure, but we're going to put it to the test regardless. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and hit that super chat button. All donations are appreciated. What do you guys think about Gen Z? You guys think that Gen Z is going to turn it around, or do you think that we have something to worry about when it comes to Gen Z?
Me personally, I'm terrified of Gen Z. Because think about it, man. So, well, I don't know about Reggie and Pyro, but we're coming into our mid 40s now, and the late millennials and the Gen Zers, we're gonna be depending on them, in terms of the healthcare to take care of us when we get into our mid to late 60s and 70s. Dude, I'm terrified.
Well, but also counter to that, I think it's 40% of doctors are from are from India. So when it comes to healthcare, we're just going to import foreign healthcare workers.
That's a
It's
good
already
point.
happening. Steve M says, I'm old. Buy land, start a homestand while you can. Thank you for the $2. I really, really appreciate that. Anyone else have any opinions on Gen Z?
Doug.
Mhm.
Okay. So, how familiar is anyone in the chat about like Japan's situation?
Oh yeah, it's bad over there, man. It's bad. And
Yeah.
they're
That,
trying to get they want African and Indian healthcare workers, but Japan is so xenophobic that they don't want foreign healthcare workers there.
so, Doug, this has been a problem in Japan for a long time. Like, essentially, they're the canary in the coal mine for us. It has been so bad for the longest that there's this animated movie that I really like called Rojin Z. It's
Mhm.
literally about that since their aging population, like they have more older people than they have young people, that they would have had to invest in technology to pretty much take care of them. So it's like this AI created like hospital bed that takes care of all their needs. There was a movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that was like what they were scared about then. And
It's
it just is not any better now.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do over there, man. They're paying. They're trying to get foreigners to come in, be healthcare workers. They're trying to get foreigners to come in and have kids with their population. Everything, man. I'm telling you, Japan is it. Their population is supposed to shrink by like 40 million by like 2055 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. They're gonna go from like 100 million to like 80 million. Because the age of population is going to die off without enough people to replace them. Isn't that crazy to think about? Man,
Yes, and that's just because they have less younger people. You're talking about like we still have like a fair amount of younger people here, but we were wondering like how much they'll be able to contribute to society. That's a little country that has nobody.
Yeah. Yep. It's
and
true.
there's no incentive for that country to technically get more people like to reproduce because it costs too. Like I mean, they've been in recession technically since the '90s,
Yeah.
but it definitely costs too much.
The Japanese yen, the American dollar is the strongest to the Japanese yen right now than it has been in the last 30 years. So hey guys, if you want to go to Japan, go ahead. Everything's cheap right now.
Cost benefit
Oh,
analysis.
done.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just talking about like the whole Japanese yen stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I make pretty good. Um, I hate to say this, but I really love that the yen has been tanking because it has helped me so much. Like I have, like all of my stuff that I like are from Japan, so it makes it cheaper to get all the stuff I want.
Hey, you know what? They say one of the best parts about being an adult is you can buy a cake and eat it whenever you want. That's the same thing with your hobbies, man. You make enough money where you can buy whatever you want whenever you want. So go for it. Import it from Japan, man. Go for it. Shoot. Let's get back to this video.
The math ability to do that, I'll just do it for you. It is pointless to get a degree in the liberal arts. Pointless. No reason. No reason. And throw in business and throw in anything that has bio or management in it. All worthless. The only degrees are worthwhile now, well, are the trades, but we don't want to ever send our little Johnny to the trades. Well, then what would the neighbors think? He'd actually have a job. The only thing that matters is STEM. The programming IT world, that's more trades.
But even that's not safe because all the tech layoffs from the last 2 years, guys. Remember all the tech layoffs? A lot of
Doug, I can tell you,
Go ahead.
I can tell you a thing or two about the whole is computer science safe or not. It's safer of all the things, but before even these layoffs, like for me, like I'm a programmer. It's like only thing I could get were contract jobs. That was mostly the norm. It's not like a lot of I mean, unless you like work for a FANG company or something, it's like everyone else who wants IT don't like really care about their IT departments.
Yeah.
It's like that's the least of their problems. It's like, man, it might give us some money, but at the end of the day, if we don't have to need it, we'll cut down on that, and that happens a lot. And plus, it doesn't help that as a contractor, they do contract to people outside of the country to do work for them too, who will do it for cheaper.
Yep. Yep. I sat next to this guy on the plane. This is like 10, 15 years ago, and he was an Indian guy, and he was he th- his tech company in India did a trip to San Jose so they can go see Google and a couple of other companies or whatever. And Indians were pushing for medical for the longest time, which is why there's so many Indian doctors. But but they were pushing for tech back then. So there's a large tech sector in India that American companies are not afraid to take advantage of. Let me tell you.
And accounting, and now my official policy is you need to get a CPA. You cannot just do it with an accounting degree, with a bachelor's degree. You need your master's or however many master's credits you have to sit to get a CPA. All right? But even then, it's not worth paying your kids' way through school. And let me explain why. The reason why is that I can't believe it, you're all wondering, like, how come kids can't throw a grenade 25 yards? Look it up, basic training, they can't do it. How come kids are living at home till 35? How come kids are? Because you aren't parenting. I could have swore at 18 they had the pubes and the right to vote. Well, you know what? Time to treat them like fucking adults. Bye. Make them work. Make them earn their own damn education. Oh, but a kid education is so expensive. Well, now we're good at economics, and this is even harder than math. What if 1 year parents decided to stop borrowing money they didn't have and couldn't afford and stop flooding the higher education market with not trillions, I'd have to say, depending on parents and numbers, ever so.
Could you imagine, guys? Could you imagine if everyone just stopped paying college tuition for 1 year? Everybody just stopped. Just no one went to college for 1 year.
I mean,
How
Doug,
fast? How fast would tuition drop the next year if nobody paid for tuition for 1 year? It drop like a freaking brick. But no one's gonna do it. They're gonna keep sending their kids to these schools, especially their daughters. Women are gonna keep signing up to these schools to get in a whole bunch of debt to get degrees nobody cares about to not make them any money. What was that?
Oh, I was going to say, like, a lot of the problems with school is like how much of that is actually just your degree that you're paying for. It's like they have all these facilities on campus that like I really never use. Sometimes I do use them, sometimes I don't. But it's like I'm still paying for that. They have these activities that supposed to help bring like bring in people. Like at the end of the day, it's like I just want good teachers who are teaching me stuff and hurry up and get out of here. Like personally, for me, once I was done with my classes for the day, I wanted to get home. But they have all these other activities and stuff that you're paying for. Technically, you get help in paying for whatever um, rooming that they have there too. Like I always find it like you really need to look into like the itemized fees that they charge
Well,
you and
you saw
see
that
how
video I
much.
posted yesterday about the woman, where they're talking about Pomona College, and they asked that the provost of the university why it's so expensive, but she's like, the people, that's what costs so much.
Yeah, I
They're
did see that.
2/3 of the cost of tuition aren't even for the professors; it's for the other staff on campus. Who are these people? Who are these people? Why, why does it cost so much? That's why
Oh,
school
also,
costs.
Doug,
Mhm.
I was going to mention something that Aaron said about the whole getting a CPA. Oh, yes, you have to do that. You need to like if you go into accounting, you have to eventually get a CPA as early as possible. There are requirements that can vary state by state. A lot of the route for accounting is that people would need to get at least 150 credits, which makes it where you might have to get a master's degree, unless if you get a dual degree. If you have a degree that gives you enough credit to get you over get you to 150, then you don't have to get a master's degree, depending on the state, which I kind of find is weird because I guess technically you could get like a degree in anything else as long as you get like 30 more credits.
But that's just like there's 6 states, include it's like Washington, Wyoming, and 4 other states where you can be a practicing lawyer without a law degree. You have to do an internship at a law firm for like 2-3 years. You have to pass the bar, and then you have to do like kind of like a internship at a law firm for 2 years. But you can be a lawyer without having a law degree. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So like I said, because what at least two people in the chat mentioned about going into accounting, and I would say like that is a good thing to do, like out of outside of STEM and the doctorate degrees and some law is to go into accounting. Like if you're getting a business degree, get in accounting or probably finance.
Finance, yeah.
All the other ones I wouldn't know about.
If I could do it again, I get a bachelor's degree in finance. I didn't realize, I do a lot of budgeting stuff in my day job, and I always wondered why I was learning trigonometry in high school when they should have taught accounting classes because I love knowing where all the money went. That's fun. Go
Oh,
So,
roughly, you
so
have
Doug,
ahead.
I kind of hate that we are going on this tangent, but there isn't anything technically, forbidding you from going back to school to get that degree because whatever, credits that you already have from your previous um, degree will just go in there. You might only have to do the business stuff.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop you because with my bachelor's and master's degree right now, because I have a bachelor's in policy and a master's in policy too. I'm already at where I am. Like I've I've already achieved all my professional goals, and I don't have any student loan debt, and I'm not gonna go into any more debt. I'm not like I wanted to get a PhD, But then I moved to the East Coast, and there are no PhDs that I wanted to get that are less than $85,000. Guys, I'm not going to be a debt slave. I'm not. Like I've already, I'm already at the top of my field. I don't need anything else. Everything else would just
Yeah,
be
I was.
like just like a masturbatory exercise, just to say that I have it. Yeah, I have this degree. So what? You know, it would be impractical for me to go back to school to get a finance degree.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily encouraging you or anyone else to do it. I was just saying it's like you'll be very surprised if you already have a degree. If you go back for another degree, you don't have to take that many classes anymore. Like you don't start over from scratch, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's like the whole dual major thing. Most dual majors only requires another year of school. So you can get you can get 2 bachelor's degrees in 5 years. So you declare your first major, and you complete those credits, and then you can declare yourself a dual major, and then do 2 more semesters, or like 2 semesters and a summer semester, and then get you your dual major. So a lot of times, especially if you go to the same institution, if you want to change majors, you usually have enough credits where it's like another year and a half to get another bachelor's degree. So yeah, you're right about that. You're right.
$500 billion and 2/3 $1 trillion. What do you think if all that money magically went away would happen to tuition prices? Do you think the universities would be able to afford a diversity assistant and a diversity counselor and a dean of diversity and a viceroy of diversity, an assistant viceroy dean and an assistant dean, assistant of diversity? Do you think they'd be able to afford that? They'd have to cut costs and lower tuition. Because I'm smarter than you, and that's not bullshit. I am smarter than you. I sit here and it's like, it amazes me how you normal people and inferiors can just, common tuition is going to. You guys have been asking that question for 40, probably even 50 years. Get tuition down. Let's just throw more money in. Hey, print off more money and borrow and mortgage the house and throw money into little Jimmy's degree in fucking puppetry. How come tuition is so high?
In puppetry. Could you imagine if your kid said, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna get a degree in puppetry"? I had a friend whose daughter went to some art college to get a degree in technical set design. Those are the people like in Hollywood or like on Broadway that set up the sets. Yeah, technical set design is a real thing.
At these schools. What's sad is you guys got degrees too. So it's not a good investment at least 2/3 of the time. Another thing, you can get these degrees online, not the engineering degrees, that's a little bit harder, but with schools like Western Governors University, ASU online. But the ultimate thing, okay, before I get ahead, someday, maybe your kids could grow the fuck up and be adults and pay for their own fucking shit. There's a crazy idea. But here's the ultimate one, and it's finite, and it's concrete, and it's ultimately deterministic. You can't afford it. Unless you want to work until you're 80 or 85, which pretty much every baby boomer who foolishly paid for all their children's way through college and could afford it, that's what you're going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do. So, I know you guys know everything because you're the adults and you're the parents and you don't like young whippersnappers telling you better respect your elders. I'm not the one sitting there, I don't have enough money for retirement. Why is that? Let's ask our son who has his triple doctorate in puppetry and finger shadow puppetry studies. Say,
Finger shadow puppetry study. Sounds about right though. Guys, this was 6 years ago.
Oh god. And it's still going on. It's worse now.
It's even worse now.
Oh, dude,
Even
guys.
worse.
Guys, have you heard of what the latest scam degree that some of these Ivy Leagues are starting to offer? Was it about, I want to say it was like about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was watching a video, somebody talking about how Yale University, they were so proud that they were going to offer a degree, offer a master's degree program for, get this, online influencers.
Yeah, that's a new scam.
Yeah.
It is a new scam, guys. Yep. And don't forget that one video remember what of that university in New York, where those people are like, oh yeah, I got some degree in freaking you know lesbian queer history, yay, and then I got mine in freaking you know freaking you know freaking historical cake baking, yay. Remember that video?
Yeah.
Historical baking.
I'm telling you, man.
Tanner, mom and dad aren't educated like you and your sister, who has her triple doctorate in women's studies and gender studies and looking at her hoo-ha. Could you intelligent, educated kids tell us why we can't afford tuition? And they will say, it's the Republicans and George Bush and Donald Trump. You go, oh, okay. You need to grow the fuck up. You need to do math and numbers, financial projections, or if that's you don't want to do it, which I understand, just do the simpler policy of not paying your kids way through college. Okay? You're not helping them. You certainly ain't helping them yourself. All you're doing is basically lending them money they're going to have to pay you back because you're not going to have enough money for retirement and they're going to have you living at their home. And maybe that's what all of you deserve. Maybe that's what you guys all deserve. But for the love of God, knock it the fuck off, people. Stop paying for your fucking kids' way through college. It's not helping anybody, especially you. Now, if you'd like, you don't believe me, I don't give a shit if you don't like my attitude. You can read my book, Worthless. It's on Amazon. I said...
Okay. Yep, he said it. What needs to be said. College is getting way too expensive, guys. Way too expensive. And I don't, the system, I keep saying each year that the system is going to cave in on itself, but it just doesn't do it. It doesn't. I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't.
There must be some kind of dark magic to just not make that thing just explode and just gone.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, man. The crazy part about it is most of these schools are public universities, nonprofits, so they don't keep the money. They have to spend it. How do you spend all this money? Well, you know what? I'm not going to say that. Why can't I spend some of that money? I'll put it that way. How about that? Uh-huh.
So, like I said, I went to a public college. I mean, it's not really too hard to spend the money. It's like one, they can just make new buildings or refurbish old buildings or something like that.
I understand. Millions of Americans who
Go ahead.
Yeah, stuff like that. If I remember correctly, my school really didn't even have a football team for a majority of the time, and so they got one, and that eventually went into more money. It's like, oh, we need a field for them, places for them to practice, stuff like that. So a public school can spend the money. Now, I will tell you this. Even I would say that majority of stuff that my school did spend on was really helpful for making it better. So they spent their money wisely, as far as I could tell. But who knows for these other ones?
I look at the most elaborate and expensive college football stadiums if you want to see how colleges spend their money. Look it up, guys. Top 10 college football stadiums. One stadium has an aquarium that goes all the way around the stadium. Yeah. And just to jog our memory about what freaking Aaron Clary was saying, let's do a quick hit of our friends at NYU Gallatin and what they were majoring in. You guys remember this? This is fun. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm studying Latin American women and visual culture.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm studying the unseen body and creative spaces of erasure and exposure of the queer. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Nina, and I studied the arts, education, and social justice.
Yeah.
I'm Joyce. I studied decolonial intimacies, indigenous politics of resistance.
Yeah.
I'm Victoria, and I studied remembering or forgetting, navigating international conflict through collective memory.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Iman, and I study monstrosity, the subaltern praxis Or should I say I created it?
Hi, I'm Nunyala. I'm studying living artfully, art as ritual therapy and pathways of decoloniality.
I'm Naomi and I'm studying Black political economy.
I'm Natalie and I'm studying fashion history and gender studies.
And I studied phenomenological approaches to Black womanhood, specifically.
My name is Marie, and my concentration is the radical disruption for survival, development in sub-Saharan Africa, and social anthropology.
Hi, I'm Kira, and I study textiles and environmental justice.
Hi, I'm Ava, and I study I'm woman, fugitive family, relationships, and identity, the transformative Black woman.
There it is, guys. There it is. Right there. That's why student loan forgiveness? No. Nope. No. Because you have 70% of college students are women now, and this is what women are studying. Now, NYU, Gallatin, you can make up your own major in this, and these are the majors that women are choosing.
Studying the unseen body.
Okay, so since everyone is fascinated with the idea of the
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm graduating from NYU Gallatin, and my concentration is economic inequality in the U.S. and Caribbean.
Period. Hey, my name is Nayeli. I'm from Gallatin, and my concentration is spiritual healing.
What? Spiritual healing?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Are you serious, guys?
Doug.
Yeah.
Can a school even be accredited if you only making up the degree? Like if they have no specific degrees already planned out, is that even a school that can get accreditation at all?
Yeah. They are accredited as of November 2023. The estimated total expense tuition and fees for a full-time student in a traditional undergrad program is $30,000 per semester at freaking NYU Gallatin. That's what these broads are paying for this. It's crazy, guys.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about like this is crazy for me because my school actually makes sense. Like the college that I went to, like it was public, so like they're under stricter rule. It's like whatever money they had, whatever stuff they had, like it had to make sense. It's like they were a research school. They spent a lot in, research stuff and science, technology, actual business. So this kind of stuff is just wild for me.
Look at this. Tuition and fees, $54,516. The Institute of Fine Arts is $40,000. This is just tuition and fees. It's $47,000. So these broads, if they were going there full time, not working, living on campus, they're paying $89,000 a year. And what is 89,000 times 4? 89,000 times 4. That's over $300,000. Crazy, guys. All right, let's get to this one.
Hi, my name is Eliel, and I concentrated in Black storytelling.
What? Oh my god, bro.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Oh my god.
And look at her like she's flexing. Look at that. And isn't that a Nigerian flag pattern?
Yeah.
So shouldn't she have known better? Shouldn't her parent, like most Nigerian parents will want their kids to be like a nurse or something? And she studied Black storytelling. Look at the look on her face, like she accomplished something.
Hey, my name is Gabby. My concentration is called Exploring Colonialism and Sustainable Economic Development.
Period.
I'm Alexia, and my concentration is creativity as communication, how the arts act as a language outside of verbal communication. Period.
Hi,
Don't save these women, guys. Don't do it. It's not your responsibility. Don't do it.
As
This
J. Cole said, don't save her. Like she doesn't want to be saved.
Yep. Are there any
My
more?
name is Nikki. I'm Amina, and my concentration is titled The Criminal Mind, which is surrounded on criminology and applied psychology. I'm Amina, and many of you might have already seen this video circulating around of many of us Gallatin students speaking about our concentration.
I haven't seen this one. So now we have a Gallatin major who said her freaking word salad of a major, and she's gonna try to justify it. Let's go.
And I just want to come on here and speak more about what.
First off, let me start this over.
I'm Amina, and my concentration is titled The Criminal Mind, which is surrounded on criminology and applied psychology.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I'm Amina, and many of you might have already seen this video circulating around of many of us Gallatin students speaking about our concentration, and I just want to come on here and speak more about what Gallatin is. So at Gallatin, we were able to explore our interests and put together a concentration, and I know many of you will say, what even is this? Like, it's so stupid. Like, what even is a criminal mind? It can literally just be a reference to the show, but it literally goes deeper than that. The Criminal Mind is literally the title of my concentration. I want to emphasize, it is the title of my concentration. Since many people...
Is this making any of us feel better so far? Or do we still think that she got a degree in freaking a toilet bowl cleaning? Come on now.
People are concerned, I explored how childhood development is a contributing factor that can lead to the increase in risk of offending behaviors. To go deeper, how psychological and social factors really impacts a child into their decision-making process. To even go further, we shouldn't be throwing our children into detention centers and focusing on how alternative-based programs would be beneficial to them instead. During my senior year, I had to write a rationale, or you can say thesis, which defended my concentration. And along with that, I had to sit for an hour-and-a-half colloquium where I talked with an advisor and another faculty where we just had a discussion about what I studied. I know many of you are shitting on Gallatin, but I'm so lucky that I got to explore my interests throughout all of the colleges that I wanted. Like, I didn't have any restrictions or boundaries where I can only take a certain amount of classes at a certain school. I was able to do whatever I wanted. And to say many of us won't be getting jobs or anything like that, a lot of us are going the step further and getting another degree on top of our bachelor's or even further. For me personally, I'm going for my JD and possibly my MSW. So
Of course she is, guys. Another female lawyer. So she's $200,000 in debt from this BS degree. Then she's going to go to law school, put herself another $170,000 in debt. This is modern, huh?
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It is, guys. And these women, they don't think about how they're going to pay this stuff off. They just don't.
Doug, I know. How's she gonna put herself in back bending like degree? I guarantee that.
The thing about it is, well, I was gonna say all these women have freaking, OF to fall back on, but that those first couple of videos, I saw a whole bunch of. Man. So I don't know. Maybe there are a lot of simps out there. Simps will pay an OF, for anything. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, so this girl is gonna get this degree and then go to 4 or 5 more years of school and enter the job market when she's 29, and then have to figure out that the social sciences are just saturated with these kind of degrees and these kind of women. Even with all her school, and she's looking at maybe making $75,000 a year, 80,000 max, and she's in New York. So if she stays in New York, she's really screwed. Go ahead.
Oh, what I was going to say is, like, I don't know if this still is a problem, but it was definitely a problem for me was like when I was in school, I really didn't understand like what jobs were available for like what certain degrees. So I was like, oh, I really like math, but what is a degree in math, like mathematics, going to get me a job at? So it would have been nicer if, like, at least in high school or something, they would have like brought in people or had some kind of fairs where you go to, like, oh, here's the type of professions that are available. This is the kind of work we do. This is how much, like kind of like you get you. I mean, like back in the day, like people just used to apprentice and stuff or whatever. So it's like I kind of wish that was more of a thing, especially when I was a kid. Because the only reason I even got into computer science was like I was already like a techie, smart mathematical person. So I was like, oh, I like video games. Maybe I should go into coding and do coding. That's the only reason. Like there was no one who said like, oh, hey, there's stuff in accounting. There like I didn't even know that tax accounting was specifically a type of accounting for the longest. I just thought like, oh, like I guess people work at the IRS and that's it or whatever. And like if someone would have told me that, I would have gone into tax accounting really early in my school career.
Well,
So like
my degree program was literally intentional. I always knew that I wanted to, I wanted to end up, working in the public sector because, I grew up in a state capital, and like a bunch of my friends had parents who made a lot of money for not doing a lot of work, and like a lot of public servants, they make a lot of money. It's not that they don't do anything, but they compared to the corporate environment, you don't do as much. So I came from that, and I was like, "Yo, I met this guy at my gym, and he was executive for the county, and he, his life was easy as cake." And I was like, "What kind of degree do you have to get that job?" He said, "I have a degree in policy." I said, "I want his job, a job like his, and now I have it." So I was intentional about my degree program the whole time. I knew exactly what I wanted to do going into undergrad. Like community college, not really, but undergrad, I declared my major when I transferred, and I stayed in it, and I graduated in it, and then I got a master's degree in it. And guys, also, don't fall into this trap of not knowing what you want to do for a living. If you don't know what you want to do for a living, make a list of jobs you would never do, and just do what you can to stay away from those jobs. Like I told myself when I was younger, I can't be a firefighter because I don't want to save anyone that I don't care about. Sorry, you know, I can never be a police officer. I don't like blood in the hospital, so I didn't want to be a doctor. I had this list of jobs, and in my current day job, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing any of the jobs I didn't want to do. So if you don't know what you want to do with your life, make a list of things that you'd never be caught dead doing, and then just run away from those. That's what I did.
So I can
yeah,
become
Doug,
more.
I would agree with that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying I would agree with specifically you said. Like make sure like they're the jobs that you don't ever want to do. Like I never wanted to be a teacher and never wanted to go into like the doctoring field because of the whole like blood. Like I don't want to be a surgeon or anything like that. What was it like? Didn't want to be a police officer or firefighter. But I think that's kind of the problem that I had in when I was a child. I was like, okay, I know those jobs exist, but what are other jobs that exist that I might have been interested in and could have like looked into pursuing earlier?
Yeah, yeah. Just however you got to find the motivation to get to where you want to go. Do it. But just try not to end up in a job that you just don't want to do. Now I'm not gonna say hate, 'cause a lot of guys are doing jobs that they don't like or hate, but they're just jobs where I'm just not fit for, man. I'm just not. Being a cop, especially, heck no.
Attorney. So no, you don't have to be scared about me being jobless. Also, I won't be in debt. Also, stop shitting on our baristas. Mind you, you're the one putting money in their pocket, not the other way around. Is Amina?
Okay. Hold up a second. Who's this chick? Let me see if I can figure out who this girl is and what she ended up doing. Uh, oh look, beauty and lifestyle. Am I going to be able to find this chick? I'll look while we're going through other videos because I want to see her on LinkedIn and see if she actually ended up. Because how old was this video? Maybe it's not old enough.
It's Amina.
Oh no, this was June 8th of this year, so never mind. So she isn't actually in the workforce yet. Okay, hold on.
A teenager is upset that her parents won't pay for college, despite making $320,000 a year. The 17-year-old named Haley called into the Dave Ramsey Show, saying that she'd received some scholarships that brought her tuition down to $30,000 a year. But that's still a six-figure degree. But her very well-off parents have just bought a vacation home and are planning to retire in the next few years. So they're not willing to chip into her education. So Haley asked Ramsey for advice on getting student loans because her parents' high income means she doesn't qualify for financial aid. Ramsey found it absurd that parents who can afford a vacation home would allow their child to sink six figures in debt for an education, calling it a screwed up value system, and urging Haley to find a different school she could go to where she wouldn't have to take on debt. Ramsey's advice is often controversial, of course, and full disclosure, I'm not one who usually agrees with him. But in this case, I gotta go Team Ramsey. Teaching your kids the value of $1 and how to pay their own way in life is vitally important. But Haley's situation...
Okay. I found this girl, right? Recent graduate from NYU, a Gallatin. Concentration of the criminal mind, how child development is a contributing factor to offending behaviors, minor child adolescent and mental health studies. So her job history says student assistant NYU office sponsored programs. That was May of 2021 to August of 2024. There is no additional work history. So I guess she's been taking 2 months off, I guess. Oh no. Yeah, man. She's not working right now. Maybe that's a sign of things to come, I guess. Anyway.
Butts up against another very real problem in America right now. Not only is college exorbitantly expensive, but the value of a college degree has been steadily declining for years. Partly this is because so many more people have degrees nowadays, but it's also because of the way the job market has changed, where even many low-rung entry-level jobs require a master's degree, but certainly don't pay like it. This puts young people in a situation where they often can't even get their foot in the door without an elite degree or two, leaving them carrying six figures worth of debt for...
Look at that. Wait, let me go back. We owe $356,000 in student loans. Could you imagine?
Worth of debt for a degree that often won't even get them a job that pays enough to pay off the debt from getting the degree in the first place. Again, expecting your kids to pay their own way in life is important. Everyone has to learn that. But we're no longer in the era when you can put yourself through college with a part-time job waiting tables, and we haven't been for decades. Forcing your child to voluntarily hurl themselves into the life-ruining meat grinder our education and economic system has become because you want to buy a vacation home? Gotta go with old Ramsey on this one. That is absurd.
There you go. All right, guys, it's been an hour, 45 minutes. I'm going to go over this one debt confession video, and then we can wrap it up. All right, this girl right here, $130,000 in debt. My debt journey. Make sure to like the video, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let's go through this girl's debt confession journey real quick. Let me put it at 1.5, so we're not sitting here listening to her drone on and on and on. And is hers? Oh, Dot My Finances. All these people call their channels Leslie's Budgeting, something budget guru. Like, why would you listen to any of these women when they're proudly declaring their debt? Why?
Hi everyone, my name is Dot and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I will be sharing my financial journey as I pay off my debt and build up my savings. Alright, so a little bit about me. I've racked up a lot of debt in the past few years, and my salary has also tripled within the last 2 years, but I am still finding myself wondering where all my money goes. So this year I started to keep track of
Remember, 46% of women don't budget.
all the debts and all the savings I have, because I also do want to build up my savings while I am paying off my debt. So we get started. So the first thing I have is my firm account. So currently I owe $431.
You guys remember, a firm is that, if you're going to buy something, it says, oh yeah, make 4 payments instead of paying it off in full. Klarna, Affirm, all that stuff. Don't touch that. It's short-term lending.
APR is 11.99%.
Look at that, 11.99% APR. Well,
My minimum
that's not so bad. Most credit cards are more than that.
payment is $43.18. So I currently have this listed as a priority because I want to pay this off first since the balance is so low. And I also do try to avoid the whole buy now, pay later type of things. But for this, I caved because I wanted to get my husband an iPad since he's going back.
Wait, so she's married, but she has no idea how much money is going in and out. So that's an L for him. That's an L right there, guys. Guys, I beg you, you got to be able to have the balls to take control of the finances of your home. And don't fall into that trap where your money is the house money and then she gets to keep all of her money. Because these women will spend all their money, guys, every single cent. Don't do it. Make sure go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say about the whole, keep up with your finances because, like, you had that video that I saw today about that woman who had what $200,000 in debt, and she does their finances, and she even mentioned that her husband like has a good paying, like makes what 500K, and somehow she's still in debt. Like, how is that happening?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. No idea. But she said that her husband likes to spend the money, so she's the one that's trying to save. But I wonder if that was a recent kind of switch, though. I don't know.
I mean, it was kind of ambiguous because she made it seem like she said like, "Oh, I'm frugal, so I make sure that we don't overspend on stuff. Even if my husband wants it, I tell him no," kind of thing. And I'm like, if I made like, how much are you still spending?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But she seemed well. It's one of those double-edged swords where she seems financially aware now, but she should have been financially aware before she put herself $200,000 in student loan debt. And that still pisses me off that the financial advisor was like, "You should pay off that student loan debt so you're not vulnerable if you get divorced." It's crazy, guys. That's what's out there. That's what's out there.
Back to school, and over the years he has taken care of me, so I felt like I wanted to take care of him this time. So this was not a smart choice here, but I do have this to pay off. All right, and up next I have a credit card. So this is a travel credit card. So the current amount I owe is $12,371.41. My interest rate
With a 23.24% interest rate. Yikes.
is 23.24%. My minimum payment is $376, but I'm actually paying about $560 a month, and that's split into weekly payments of $140 a week. So this credit card will be my main focus for credit cards because the balance is so high, the interest is high. Overall, it's just a huge balance that I do want to take care of. But my credit limit for this card is about $16,000, I believe. All right, and then the next credit card I have is my very first credit card, which is the Cash Rewards credit card. So the amount I owe for this is $3,184.
Guys, how do people have so many credit cards? I don't understand it. They still say the average person, the average woman has 7 credit cards. 7. You guys have to be able to have a conversation with your significant other and say, "Look, no more credit cards. None. Cut them up." Have to be able to do that. And if she's not willing to do that, you got to leave.
$41. So my interest rate is 18.24%. Minimum payment is $82, and I actually pay only about $100 a month for this, so that's $25 a week. All right, so the next credit card I have is with a credit union. So currently I only owe 99 cents, but overall, like, I'm not really worried about this card because I do pay that off every month. This used to be a higher balance of maybe like 400 or 500. But I don't really touch this credit card. It's kind of a backup credit card. So I don't really, like I said, I don't really use this. And it's on auto pay, so the 99 cents is always paid monthly, and it's just for a cloud subscription. So it's mostly just to keep this card open and active. All right, and then the next balance I have is a car loan. So I currently owe $22,287.85.
At least her APR on a car loan is decent. We see some videos on here where they have a 2016 Altima with a 24% interest rate. We've seen that a couple of times, haven't we, guys?
Since my interest rate is 3.99%, my minimum payment is $562.10. All right, so the next one I have is a student loan. So this is considered a private student loan with SoFi. I have $35,200.
Ooh, those private student loans, guys. Oof. But she refinanced under SoFi for 4.97%, so that helps a little bit.
$55.19. Interest rate is at 4.97%. My minimum payment is $273.36. So this student loan was actually under my parents' name as a federal student loan. So these loans were what they taken out for me. And long story short, when I moved out,
See, her parents took out these loans for her, and then she refinanced it under her name. At least she took that off that load off of her parents. Go ahead.
She said a federal loan, so I'm assuming her federal loan had to be somewhere over 5%.
Yeah.
Are there federal loans that do that?
The federal student loan rate is like 6.7%.
But I mean, to be honest, just even saving that amount of percentage, I think I would have just still kept it as federal loans. Like,
what is the federal loan interest? Federal student loan interest rate. Yeah,
I can understand like you had almost double digits, but
it's 6.53%, and then for grad school it's 8.08%. But for direct, hold on. For direct plus or parent plus loans, it's 9.08%.
Jesus H. Christ.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, only reason I would even think about going to that, like, it has to be almost double digits. So if there was a way, because like for me, like I've gotten federal loans before, and it's like I think the highest one was like maybe 5% or something. It's like there was no way I would refinance that just to get what barely 0.03% savings.
Yeah, but you make sense, Raging Gamer. This girl doesn't. A lot of women don't when it comes to finances. Remember, guys, I said it before. Only 46% of women, 46% of women don't budget. They have no idea how much money is going in. That's why these debt confession videos are a thing, because these women are taking the courage to actually look at their finances. A lot of women don't. Remember, they're just going to make it work. It'll get paid off somehow. There's some simp out there to help her with her bills, and just make sure it's not you guys.
I decided to take this loan over so they didn't have to financially care for me anymore.
So right now that's 1, 2, 3 credit cards, a car loan, and then her student loan.
That's why I have a private student loan. All right, the next one is my federal student loan. So the total balance.
Oh no!
Of this is $54,695.21. My minimum payment is $624.50. So the federal student loans is actually a combination of like four smaller student loans. So the interest rate varies for each one, and the minimum balance is also different for each one. But
oh my God, you guys! Holy crap! This just got real quick. Oh my goodness! So for student loans, she pays 273.36 plus 624.50. $900 a month for her student loans at the minimum, and she owes 35255.19 plus 5469.9. That's $89,950 in student loans. Why would this? Oh God, man, guys, don't be her husband. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it, because this is his problem. I guarantee you, he makes more money than she does, and it has to go towards her student loans. This is
Doug,
uh-huh.
she mentioned earlier that somehow her salary increased by 3 times. So, like, how was she paying it before? Was she?
I have no idea. Let me see. She doesn't say what she went to school for, but man, I wish I knew. Yikes! Ugh. AJ in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Yep, he says some Sims always have capes flapping in the wind. 100%.
If you add them all up, the minimum balance is 624. So for this, I am mostly focused on the smallest balance and paying that off first, and then make my way up towards the highest balance. The reason why I'm doing that is because I do want to bring down my overall DTI. So this is like one of the easier ways to bring down my DTI instead of one of the.
And guys, let's just put this in perspective, right? She says $130,000 in student loans, right? Has she? Is this it? I don't know if it's it or
Longer,
not.
bigger loans. Great. And then I do have shared debts with my husband. I have a mortgage and a shared credit card.
And another credit card, you guys.
So that is debts, but for the series, I am mostly focused on my own personal debt, since the other debts not exactly bad debts. But you guys are interested in seeing the numbers for those.
Now, this would have been a little better if it was her and her husband in this kind of debt, but this is just her, you guys. Just her.
I might consider showing those, but like I said, most of this is going to be my own personal debt. All right, so that's.
She hasn't said yet, AJ. She hasn't said how long she out of school, and she hasn't said what she got her degrees in either.
That's it for my debt. So I believe my total is. So the total amount of personal debt I have is $128,226.06. So that's what my personal debt is sitting at. And my goal for the end of year 2024 is to bring that down to $100,000 of debt. Sorry, I forgot to mention that this is actually my numbers from January. I am recording this in July, so I made a lot of progress, but I'm just going to show month by month since I started keeping track at the beginning of 2024. Alright, so moving on to my assets. So I have my main checking account. So I have about $2,500 in this account, and my goal is to have a consistent about maybe $5,000. So this checking account, everything is connected to this account. I have everything except for a savings account connected to this. So that's why my goal to have a consistent amount of $5,000 is high, because I don't have a direct savings account connected to this. Long story short, I did.
Wait, she doesn't have a savings account connected to it? Why?
Did have a savings, but the interest rate's not good, so I decided to close it. But about $5,000 should cover like my monthly expenses and also some cushion if I do.
Yeah, Cochran Water says, do a stream on buy now, pay later scam these women keep falling for. Yeah, Cochran Water, I've heard of it. Yeah, I told you it's a new version of the payday loan thing where they do this buy now, pay later, but the percentage rate on the short-term lending is just as bad as payday loans. And they just get caught up in it, because a lot of places passed legislation to get rid of title loans and payday loans, but they always find a new scam, guys, and women keep falling for it.
Decided to spend a little bit more, but $5,000 is where like my comfort goal is at. Alright, so my next checking account is with a credit union. So I don't really touch this checking account, so the back look at it. So main checking account savings, so that's where
she has $650 in her savings account. Sounds about right.
I move my money to. Goal is to have yield savings accounts. So this is also very slowly
$232 in a high yield savings account.
growing, but my current amount is $200 a week. I'm starting dollars and all my CDs. I'm doing this.
At least she has a CD, but you'd think that she would take that CD and put it towards her debt.
CD laddering method. If you're not familiar with that, I think it's a great idea for my spending habits and how building up my savings would work well for me. Funds right now, and then the interest rate is similar. Retirement and investments account. So I'm very happy with how this is looking because I do completely forget about this money, and these are also on auto transfers. And the auto transfers also not a whole lot. Maybe I'm used to know, but for my next one is my hins. I just go combine look at to know like I
Still, $130,000 in personal debt, you guys. Don't let this be your reality, guys. Because women will be like, I'm strong, I'm independent. Don't talk to me. They want to be independent in a relationship. And as a man, especially when you're married and you love a woman, you want her to be happy, right? And sometimes you'll fold, guys. Well, actually, no. A lot of us won't now that the red pill's out there. But before this whole red pill thing happened, a lot of guys would fold. And all of a sudden, once again, you're paying for everything, and all she's doing is putting you guys in a whole bunch of debt. And whenever you try to talk to her about finances, she knows all the shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right to shame you back into your position of not knowing how much money she's spending. Keep yourself out of that position, guys. Be the one that takes care of the finances. Be cheap. You should have the dynamic in your household. The answer is no. Tell me why we should why I should say yes to that. And a lot of women are gonna be like, You're talking to me like I'm a child. I'm an adult. I'm a grown woman.
How dare you?
But then you could be looking at this. This could happen to you guys. This could happen. Happens to a lot of us guys out there. $128,000, $128,226.06 of her personal debt. Your mental, emotional, and monetary health is at stake, guys. They always say, and it's funny. They say, "Oh, women leave men over finances. Women leave men over finances when they're the ones spending all the money." Isn't that crazy to think about? So it's like a woman will be irresponsible with the money, get on the guy for not making enough to fit her spending habits, and then divorce the guy because he's not making enough money, and then struggle as a single mom. Guys. All right, you guys, we're on
Uh,
the. Go ahead.
I was going to just say that all these things that you have in savings, I doubt that they earn more money than the interest rates that she's paying off.
Mhm.
If she would have just been able to liquidate most of that stuff, she could at least get rid of probably the two Bank of America credit cards.
Yeah. Well, she has $12,000 in a CD. She should use that to pay this off at least.
personal debt is sitting.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. She has enough here. She could take out this CD. You know, I don't know. I don't know what she's trying to do, and I guarantee you, she keeps her husband in the dark about all this stuff. Oh, well, actually, no, because she's posting it on YouTube now. But before she started this channel, they probably had a conversation, and he's like, "Look, you got to do something about this." So now, her reward for making these sacrifices is attention on YouTube and on social media. But hey, if it gets it to her goal, like, well, we're gonna look at her channel and see where she's at. So she went from 128 to 12,000. Let's see the list real quick. Yeah. I don't feel like going through this. I'm getting kind of tired. Anyway, so guys. Oh, AJ, what's up, man? How you doing?
Just real quick, you had talked about that chick. She had what, a Klarna account or something?
Affirm.
Affirm, yeah. So that's it's like the rich girl's version of layaway.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So like it's like Gucci, Versace, the new all these broke 304s couldn't afford anything, but so they made their own version of layaway. And so you go, okay, I'm gonna buy this bag and do it in like 5 payments of like $500, right? Now, if you don't make the payments, they give you a whole bunch of late fees, right? And then it can only negatively affect your credit. It can't positively affect your credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true. And
So it's a stylist version of layaway.
and then does
broke rods.
Does Affirm, because a lot of online lending is immune to because lending laws go by state. So if it's online, it doesn't apply to state rules. Oh, Steve M gets his 5 memberships. Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Paddlefoot says Affirm never hit my credit. It shows up when paid off, but then again, I always paid ahead and paid early. Good job. Yeah, and then guys, you'd be surprised what almost every site, high end or otherwise, on the payment screen has Affirm or Klarna or something like that.
Yeah, it's the same way as with they started offering like high interest loans and high interest stuff so that these 304s can buy these townhomes and all this other fools. It's giving broke people the ability to think that they can buy stuff just so they can. It's the same as when they give these 304s, you know, an $800 car payment on a 2012 Altima. You know what I'm saying? They know she's not going to pay for it, and they're going to repo the car back and then sell it to some other knucklehead. But now they're doing it with Birkin bags.
100%
You got
true.
freaking Chick-fil-A chicks trying to get Gucci bags. You know?
Yeah, and the key is, remember, short-term lending, all this lending, all it does is play on these women's emotions. Retail therapy is a thing. You can go on TikTok and type in retail therapy, and all these women, they their emotions are tied up in their spending. And instead of paying $100 all at once, they paid $25 over 4 months, and then miss a payment, and all of a sudden you have all these fees.
Yeah, and the only person whose money that they enjoy spending more than theirs is yours.
And then the only money that they enjoy spending more than yours is the government's.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap this up. AJ, I'm gonna ask you final words. Do you think that Gen X and older millennial parents have a responsibility to pay for their children's college tuition?
No,
And why not?
because 9 times out of 10, unless your kid's name is Jin Woo, and is majoring in friggin' electrical engineering, it's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? You know, Asian kids, Indian kids, Nigerian kids. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes they go into science, technology, engineering, math, guaranteed. But all the rest, you know what I'm saying? How are you gonna? Okay, there's a double lack of ROI, right? Because think about it. The student, your knuckleheaded, Gavin, who's majoring in art history, he's not getting an ROI on the money on the degree he's getting, and then Gavin's knuckleheaded dad isn't getting an ROI on the money that he's spending on his son.
You missed the story earlier. I covered a story where this girl went to Wheaton University in Illinois, was a business major switched to a communications major. Her parents paid $210,000 for her degree. Took out
Wait, what degree was it? A Bentley?
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
was it again?
A communications degree.
What?
Yeah, they took out a second mortgage on their house.
What?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And she feels bad, but like, oh, we just wanted to provide you with the education. Yeah, and she feels bad, as she should. That's why.
Dang.
Yep. Reggie said it multiple times. He would give, if he had kids, he give them money, but he'd have to be in control as to where they go, and what kind of major they were.
And you got to
in.
think these 304s. A lot of times when their parents give them money, they pay for their books. They pay for their room and board at school. And then who do they spend the rest of their parents' money on?
Pookie, Ray, and Nug Nug.
Nug, Gavin. Yeah, exactly. You
Yep.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Huge. Cool.
Yep. All right, guys. Colin. Any last words about paying for your child's tuition?
No, I think you guys summed it all up pretty well.
Okay. Pyro?
Guys, hold on. If I could cut in here. I want you guys. Okay. Do you remember that there was a video? I don't know if you saw it with the chick with the that was exposing herself to the kid, and the kid was mixed race, and the mom was a crackhead, like who was white. Guys, we'll here. Let's take like a minute and suss out. Like you can just see the trailer trash Tammys and the biggins that have got with Nug Nug. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I mean, Colin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People like you can just kind of tell. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to bring this up, but I think someone had like had made a comment about that on one of the lives or whatever, and I was like, maybe people just really don't get our red pill sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they understand. So, anyways, I'm done now.
Pyro?
Yeah, I didn't hear. Yeah, I didn't hear what you guys said.
Oh, just final words on paying for your child's tuition.
Yeah. All I can say is like, yeah, I think the kid should actually like have a father or mother or both parent to tell them to get into some kind of subject like which will benefit them greatly, and like make sure the kid is not slacking off, wasting the money and trying to switch up subjects, because you will be wasting a lot of money, and then the kid said he doesn't like it anymore. Then you put yourself in a lot of debt. So I think the parents should have the better interest in the kid that way.
I did have a video lined up somewhere where this woman was talking about if she's going to pay for her kid's school, they have to stay at home, and then they have to show them what major, because if they're like they can't party and not focus on their studies.
Yeah.
If they're living at home. And I was like, that makes sense. With the cost of college, I don't blame them, man. You know what I'm saying? You can, if they live in your house, you can say, look, you need to be home by 9 o'clock to study, just like high school. But if they're living on the dorms for the first time, partying, drinking and stuff, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Raise your gamer. Any last words about paying for your kids' tuition?
So as I mentioned this, don't pay for your kids. At best, if they able to get through college and do well and get a good job, then you can help them repay it. But no, don't put your money up front. like Aaron Clary said, it's like most people don't have enough money to send their children to school, and it just screws over the parents in the long run financially. And then two, it's like unless you can really really control your child, which do you really want to do? It's like the child, like they're not going to have any value if they're not having to pretty much put their skin in the game.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
because because like you said, it's like, okay, I give you these rules. It's like you need to come in, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to live with me. You need to make these good grades. You can't force them to do anything. It's like you have to pay at least like the like at least a semester up front. It's not like you pay at the end of the like after school is gone. So it's like you've already invested that money and that's just gone.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We saw that in that with that lady in that story. But me, I'm gonna sum it up by saying college is just way too expensive, man. It's especially for the average family. You know, if you have a household income of like $300,000 or more, maybe you can start saving. But by the time, like, starting from today, if a kid's born today, by the time it's what, 20, what's 18 years from now? What, like 2042 or something like that? Um, I'm all saying crazy stuff here. What, 2024 plus 18? Yeah, but 2042 college bachelor's degree is going to be $180,000, guys. So focus on giving your family a good quality of life. Put that money into having a nice place to live for your family, experience and stuff, and just have them figure it out when they turn 18. Because like that one girl, her parents could have done a lot with $213,000. She should have skipped college altogether and then just had her buy her a condo or something. But that's just me. All right, you guys, thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Colin, Pyro, Rajai, AJ, Paddlefoot, Steven, Conquering Wander, Whiteout, all of you guys. Thank you, Ojante's Inferno Purgatory. Thank you for being here on this Wednesday. I'm not going to be able to go live Sunday because I'm going to be out of town. But yeah, I'll be back next Wednesday, and so I'll make sure to put the show on the community tab before I leave, and I'll catch you guys then. Okay.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.